Hi, welcome back. Let's understand about a parallel for each in this session. And last session I have shown a example for each scope and I am using the same example for parallel for each. I replaced for each with parallel for each. And if we notice a parallel for each, it has timeout, max concurrency, target configurations. If we provide any timeout value, in case the process has not completed within the time, then it will give timeout exception. And about max concurrency, we will see further. Let's see how the parallel for each works. Inside it, I am printing a payload, then consuming a service, then accumulating the response to one of the variable as employee list which I created here. And also I created one variable inside it as parallel for each var, then printing the payload after it, then printing the parallel for each var as created inside it, then setting up the response has 200 success. Let's see how the parallel for each executes the events. Let's make the request, and here we can see that the order of the execution of the events, like first employee ID 1 has printed, and then next employee ID 3 printed, then a 2, 4, 5 printed. That means it is not executing in sequential order. If it executes in sequential order, then it prints the events one by one in order, however it is cutting. Whereas parallel for each executes the events in parallel. And also I am printing a payload after it. And if we notice the payload has printed as mule event message object, same like scatter gather outcome. Here it printed the collection of details of the payload of each response. So in the first response, it has printed corresponding payload and attributes details. For the next records also, it printed the payload and the attributes details. So it has printed up to 24 records, since I have 24 records in the database. And after that, I have printed the variable which initialized inside the parallel for each, that I am not able to get it. That means whatever the variables we create inside parallel for each cannot be available after parallel for each. And parallel for each is processing each record in parallel, then in the end it was aggregating the each processed record output, then making available as the outcome of the parallel for each. Now let me print the accumulate a response to the employee list variable here, and let's see how it behaves. The application has redeployed. Now let me make the request again. Now we can see the output of the same, that it has printed each time the employee list as empty. That means what is happening inside parallel for each? At first record 1 came, assume record 1 came and has executed through it, and that has accumulated to EMP list, but that variable again in the next iteration is not available. So when it finished the accumulation and when it started processing of second record, the before record variable is not available. That means the variables are independent to each event inside parallel for each, and multiple threads will take care the execution of the events in for each individually. such that they cannot keep track of variables created from one event to other event. Now let me show you how the parallel for each works when it encounters an error. Let me stop this application and let me run the same in debugging mode. Let me put a toggle breakpoint here. Whereas this service I am consuming, I have deployed to Anypoint platform and I am consuming this. So while processing these records one by one, after few of the records have processed, I will stop this service so that the application cannot able to connect to the service such that it will error out. Let's see how parallel for each behaves during that situation. The application has deployed. Let me make a request. Request came. Now let me run this service call successfully for a few of the calls. Then I will stop the service in Anypoint platform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, 20. Now let me stop this service. The service has undeployed. Now let me make the request. The service call has failed now. Next, 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 next. And we can see that when the first call has failed, it still continued to call for other processes also, because the parallel for each executes each event in parallel. Those are independent. Since it continued the execution to the all records even though records are failing, and in these situations we can see that there are 20 records have processed successfully and 4 records have failed, but it is giving us the composite error like scatter gather. Then the execution will not be continued further. That means it could able to process some of the records, and on failures it cannot able to process some of the records, and finally it is giving as composite error and terminating the process execution, like same as scatter gather. Now let me finish the execution and observe the logs. Here it is saying that while making the events execution, it has failed at few of the routes. That is, route 20 has failed, and then it is showing that route 21 has failed, then route 21, 22, 23, then 24 are failed. We can see same in the response, which are all the routes have failed. So during such situations we can handle this composite error as this, and so that the user will get to know the process has failed, then a user will make another request or reach out to the support team. Whereas if we wanted to handle the processed record success and wanted to keep track of failed records, then can have a backend process which can retry those events again. Then we need to handle those situations with error handling. So for that, let me introduce error handling here. Here we see that there is no use with this accumulating or anything, because we cannot able to access these variables outside. But the difference from for each is that parallel for each can able to aggregate the processed records response and giving us the outcome, so that we can make use of the same to use it further. So here, in case if I add on error propagate, still it continues same which executed just now. Even though error is coming, still it won't propagate on the first error itself. So it will finish the execution, then propagates to the main parallel for each connector as composite error. So to continue further, we must go for on error continue. And here let me put something as set payload as error. Let's save and let it get redeployed. We will see how it behaves during on error continue. The application has deployed. Let me start back the service. The application has started. Let me make the request. Request came 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now let me stop the service back. The application has stopped. Now let me continue the execution. Now the remaining calls were failing and the process execution has not terminated and continued further, since we are handling each error at the component level itself and asking to continue further, such that it continued to the next. Let me clear the console and see how it prints the payload now. And we notice the payload. So obviously it would be the collection of 24 aggregated records, and that contains a mule event message including payload and attributes. So it has printed as success until 20 records. Then from that we can see that the payload has printed as error. So this way we can do error handling in a parallel for each. Either we can go for the next by handling the failed record separately, or we can allow the process to terminate there itself and user will get to know about the server error. Now let's understand about the max concurrency. Since the threads will be executed in parallel, sometimes we need to optimize the threads execution by making use of max concurrency. It especially helps us in providing or calculating the parallelism inside parallel for each. So how we can calculate this max concurrency? Let's see. For that, we should follow these rules to calculate the parallelism to provide the value to the max concurrency, such that it would able to execute the events according to the max concurrency provided. When we have the event process logic inside parallel for each is of intensive tasks, then we can provide the max concurrency value or number of threads value as less than equal to number of cores. Then how I can know the number of cores of my system? For that, I have written a Java program which will print the number of cores available in my system. Let me run this. It printed as 4. That means my system is of 4 core system. Then the threads availability I should provide here are should be less than or equal to number of cores. That will be 4 or less than 4 here. If suppose I have the blocking tasks inside a parallel for each, then we should provide the max concurrency as the number of threads should be less than or equal to a number of cores by 1 minus blocking factor. Since I have a number of cores are of 4, then this should be 4, and the value we should provide as a blocking factor should be a 0 to 1 between, because if we provide the blocking factor as 1, then obviously 1 minus 1 0, it will go for infinite times of threads execution inside parallel for each, then that will result deadlock. So make sure the blocking factor should be between 0 to 1. How we can know blocking factor? Assume inside parallel for each I am making some IO operations using database or file connector or any other connector which do IO operations. Assume that is taking 30 seconds of time. Then the blocking factor will be here 0.5, such that 1 minus 0.5 will be 0.5, then 4 by 0.5 will give us the max concurrency number. Whereas the MuleSoft execution engine is capable of optimizing or providing this max concurrency default. But if in case we wanted to customize this max concurrency with respect to the blocking factor, then go for a max concurrency value. Otherwise, let's Mule execution engine handles the max concurrency. Let's understand the performance versus a number of threads through a graph. That here I mentioned the cores and the performance factors here. When I provide the max concurrency as 4, until that my process can able to perform better. But when I increase the max concurrency more than number of cores, then the performance will fall down automatically. So the optimization of max concurrency should follow these rules. In case of the processes utilizing process intensive tasks, then the number of threads should be less than equal to number of cores. If in case of a blocking task, then we should calculate by using this rule. Make sure we would able to figure out the blocking factor time execution inside it, then corresponding value we can calculate over this formula. That's all about this session. We'll see you in next session. Thank you. Happy learning.